I think it's extremely important that there's an independent body to monitor detention conditions, especially in a place like the Maldives, where it has had such a history of maltreatment and torture in prisons.
We were requested by the government to act as an MPA in the Maldives. Then the commission decided, okay, we can take it, but we have a condition. The condition is that we need to have resources, both financial and technical resources.
The most important thing for the national preventive mechanism would be to maintain a constructive dialogue with the authorities, so that we can keep on improving the relations in order to reach our goal, that is to prevent torture altogether in the country.
In recent months, we have seen that the NPM has been making visits. They've been publishing reports about the prison conditions, and we have the last report that was made by the National Human Rights Commission was very different from what we have seen previously, and I salute that kind of reporting.
One example of the effectiveness of the NPM is that there was one prison, it's like beach jail, and when we visited, the whole jail was managed by the prisoners themselves. There was no fence, it's a separate island. There was no records who are there, how many prisoners were there, what kind of facilities they have. There was nothing, and the NPM made a recommendation to close it down immediately, and then it was done.
The New Zealand National Preventive Model involves 5 organisations, all of which are independent organisations, independent of government, that is. Each of us has specific areas of responsibility to cover, but we also have a requirement to work together. The New Zealand Human Rights Commission is the central mechanism. We've got responsibility for coordinating the work of the national preventive mechanisms. We've got responsibility for liaising with the international subcommittee and for identifying and reporting on systemic issues. The significant issues the visits have identified in the 2 years that we've been operating include the impact of very old, run-down facilities, which make it very difficult to ensure the safety and decent treatment of people who are detained there. Secondly, there's been, and I think this is an example of how positive this is, that the national preventive mechanisms have picked up examples, not many, but nonetheless, where people have been inappropriately detained or effectively illegally detained, and they've kind of fallen between the cracks. There's also been situations, and these again are quite serious, of inappropriate use of seclusion or segregation. A national preventive mechanism is working well when it's engaging effectively at the grassroots level, at the institutional level, and the people who work in those institutions see that it's a positive, see the value of having an outside independent body work with them to ensure that they're delivering fair, decent and humane conditions of detention. Of course, over time we would expect to see fewer and fewer examples identified of ill treatment, of poor conditions, and I mean, that's the ultimate goal.